unhelpful or toxic thought pattern that we're going to unlearn is that the relationship or the other person is the prize. The healthy thought is that I'm the prize because you are the prize. Now, I don't know many people who actively say that the other person I'm looking for is the prize or the relationship is the prize. These are more subconscious thoughts that then guide the actions that we take. For example, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I don't want to tell them A, B, and C because I don't want to scare them off.
Huh?
What that really is saying is that you don't want to show who you really are in fear that you won't get the prize, which is the relationship or the other person. In reality, you should be trying to scare these people off as early as possible by being your true self. That way, whoever sticks around after you reveal who you really are is the person who deserves to be with you in the first place. Also, why would you spend so much time in the talking stage or like the dating stage or even like the beginning stages of a relationship pretending to be someone you're not? Now the other person thinks that they're dating a completely other person, and then when the mask comes off, because you can only pretend to not be crazy for so long, at some point the crazy is going to come out. And if you were just crazy from the jump, they wouldn't be so surprised. Or if you pretend that you go to the gym all the time and like you only eat healthy for like the first couple months, when you start ordering McDonald's and Grubhub every other night, that person's gonna look at you sideways. Now, guess what? The relationship fails because you weren't being honest. So instead of being so worried that you might say the wrong thing or you might scare them off, I think it's important to shift our mindsets into knowing that we are the prize. And in order to like sort through and separate the clowns from the actual potential people, you just have to be yourself and know that like 9 times out of 10, the person you just met on Hinge or the person you're going on a first date with, it's probably not going to work out. But like, I think that's kind of the point. Like, you just have to see what works, see what doesn't. Always be honest and know that you are the prize. You are who you are. There's no need to pretend to be something that you're not or hide certain facts about yourself. And my tangible tip for remembering that you are the prize and putting this into action is using a points method. Now, I know this sounds like a little bit like objectification or commodification of dating, and that's not what I mean at all. Personally, I had, and still just a little bit, have the problem of falling for people too soon based on whatever they say in like the first few days or the first few messages or whatever. And that would lead to heartbreak, obviously, because whoever they present themselves as on the first date, like, you may find out in 2 weeks you don't like how they text, boom, it's over. Like, you just can't fall for them that quick. And I realized that that was coming from a glass half empty mindset, like giving all the power to wanting to be in a relationship or wanting to be with this person, and just kind of like seeing 3 things and assuming the rest. Kind of like a scarcity mindset. Like, if I don't get this person, I would never find anyone else. Or, oh, I finally found someone I kind of like, this has to be it. And if it's not it, it's probably my fault for scaring them off or yada yada yada. So the points method has actually been very helpful for me because it acknowledges that my glass is already full. Like, I fill up my own glass, and anyone else who comes, I need to see what they're adding to this glass. Because I fall hard for socialists, communists, artists, all that kind of stuff. So instead of me getting so hooked on them just because like I really admire like their mind or whatever, I'll just like add a half of a point because I really like what they said. And maybe we're doing good with like texting, because quality time is a big thing for me, so I'll give them like another half of a point. Now it's just like, it's reflecting that the process of getting to know each other and not just assuming that because they did these two little things, this is who they are. Because it's probably not who they are. It's just the few things you know about them. So I think giving points has honestly stopped me from catching feelings too quickly. And I think acknowledging that yes, there are a few things you like about them, but out of 10, they're only at like 1.5 points, sis. Like, they're not really all that. You don't really know enough about them to be all gung-ho planning your marriage or whatever. Like, so using the point method has been very helpful to not catch feelings, to remember that you got to get to 10 out of 10 points to get the prize, okay? You can't be just saying one or two things that would really get you like 0.3 points and all of a sudden I'm in love. No, you got to work for it. You got to really make sure that this person is what you want. So yeah, I hope I explained the points in a way that makes sense. Another unhealthy or toxic thought pattern that I hear way too often, and it hurts me, is every relationship has problems. Like, we need to think about what kind of problems you're talking about. And I think the more healthy thought pattern is that once my boundaries are pushed or disrespected, I will leave. Yes, every relationship has problems. No one is perfect, or whatever the case may be. But that doesn't mean you have to just accept any old thing because nobody is perfect. That also doesn't mean that relationships have problems. That means abuse or cheating. No.
No ma'am. No ma'am.
Those are not the problems that we're talking about. I feel like a healthy problem for relationships to have is like, I hate that you leave your socks on the floor, or this is my favorite restaurant but my partner doesn't really like it, or something silly, small, and not abusive or like otherwise a deal breaker. Because yes, every relationship has problems, but those problems should not be like you feeling disgusted by your partner, or you can't say anything without feeling attacked or disrespected or belittled, or they make a lot of jokes about you that are actually very disrespectful. I've been there. Also, I think what falls under this is, oh, it only happened once, or yeah, they did something I didn't like and it really hurt me, but like I cursed them out because I stand up for myself. Unfortunately, yelling at someone is not the same as keeping your boundaries intact. If someone really violates a huge boundary for you, they will do it again. Also, if someone violates a really huge boundary for you, that's it. Like, if someone hits you, it may just be once, but can you really look past that? If someone comes in and disrespects your home or disrespect you in some way, maybe it only happened once and you cursed them out, but do you really want to be with someone who did that in the first place? Think about it. So the tangible tip here for knowing your boundaries and when to leave is actually taking some time and journaling out your wants and needs for romantic, platonic, familial relationships, because they're all messy. No matter, it's not just boyfriend, girlfriend, like they're all messy. And when you go to journal, try to leave out the shallow aspects, like, oh, it's a deal breaker if they're not 6'7". Like, what does that have to do with the long-term healthiness of your relationship? I think good examples of deal breakers to put on there is, I won't take disrespect. You will not call me out of my name. If we're arguing, I do not, or we have some type of disagreement, maybe you don't like to be yelled at. Maybe you're like me and curse words just hurt, period, in a fit of anger. You don't want to be any curse words in like an argument. Like, that could be a deal breaker for you. And obviously the big ones like emotional, financial, verbal, and physical abuse, or literally any other kind of abuse, that is a deal breaker. I really don't feel like anyone should be looking past that. There's not enough sorries or flowers in the world for that to be okay. And the last unhealthy thought pattern I'm gonna touch on is the whole I can fix them thing, or they have potential. And the more healthy thought pattern is that you take each person and situation at face value, because it is what it is, not what it could be. It is what it is, not what it could be. There's been so many times where I've been in like the texting or talking stage with someone and I realize I don't really like the kind of jokes they're making, or maybe we aren't in contact as much as I would like, or maybe they have a different ideology that I just really don't agree with, and I'm just like,
maybe I can like talk them into it and they'll like learn better, and you know, one day it won't be like this.
but sis, who says one day it's gonna change? You literally have to take it at face value instead of imagining what it could be in a different reality, because that's not the one we're living in. If you are the daughter of someone who thinks it is okay to disrespect you, maybe in 10 years it'll be better, but who says? Like, you have to make your decisions based on what you see and not what you imagine, because living in this fantasy world will get you disrespected over and over again. And the tangible tip for unlearning here is be realistic and don't assume nor make excuses. If you are going on a date with someone and they don't show up, or they show up mad late and don't even communicate with you, don't make excuses as to why they aren't communicating with you, especially if they don't communicate what the real reason was. Why are you just assuming the best from someone who is showing you the worst? I think a lot of time, especially as women, we're kind of taught to see the best in everyone and don't be too harsh. Nobody's perfect. But honestly, no one is perfect, but you don't have to accept BS. You don't have to accept anything lower than what it is that you desire. Don't settle. If someone doesn't make the cut, they don't make the cut. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has a lane. We just gotta all know what ours is and stay into it. So that's the end of this video. I really hope that you are able to take these notes to heart and that you're able to begin the process of unlearning toxic relationship patterns that honestly seem so normalized today that it's hard to see them as toxic until, like me, you may end up getting your behind whooped at an Airbnb in Puerto Rico. And that's when you realize that it's gone too far, and you start looking back at all the signs. And then maybe you make a YouTube channel like me and give advice to other people, because it's not cool. Even in friendships, this type of disrespect happens. We know family can absolutely have this kind of disrespect, and it's not healthy, it's not okay. Stay tuned for other advice videos for your early 20s, getting our stuff together, living the lives that we deserve, full of love, respect, health, and happiness. Okay, bye.